Before the break, we heard from Dr. Finnegan on the power of heroin. He told us it's a very addictive drug, one that can trigger a dependence very quickly.
Yeah. Once it has a hold on your life, the consequences can be absolutely devastating until you find the strength to overcome the addiction. Jesse and Sarah McCoy of Salisbury are here to share their story, their struggle with using heroin for years. Today, they're both clean and want to spread hope for others who may be in a similar situation. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
So, Sarah, take us back to when it all started. How did all this start?
Mine was an injury from a car accident.
Yeah.
The doctors put me on Oxycontin, and I was out of work, so my insurance was taken away when I lost the job, and heroin was a lot cheaper. So I started using the heroin first to address just the physical pain,
Right.
and then found out it took away all the pain, the emotional, the mental.
So
all the feelings were gone.
you
with that.
lost the insurance, you lost the Oxycontin, so then heroin was the next option.
Yes.
How old were you when you started?
I want to say 24.
24. Now, Jesse, at this point, you had already been using heroin. In fact, it affected your family, right?
Sure, I grew up in a home of addiction. Both my parents were drug addicts. That's what I grew up in. My father died of a cocaine overdose when I was 10 years old. And our home was so broken. My mom just went harder in the addiction. Everybody just ran wild, did what they wanted to. My brother and them, he had some older friends, and I seen them one day. I was around 11 years old. They were sniffing something. My brother was like, "You don't want this, it'll burn." And it was heroin. I was like, "No." I wanted to, I just wanted to fit in somewhere. I was so lost. And that's what started. At 11 years old, I tried it, and then it was off and on from there.
Wow. Okay, so when he was using, Sarah, what kind of effect did that have on you?
Because you were sober at the time.
I was sober the first time I found out our son was just born. And I was working and would come home, and Jesse would have the whole house clean, and I'd be like, what is going on? Because I didn't know about heroin then. So finding out, I couldn't understand why he couldn't just quit, because I had never been in that. So it was kind of hid for a while, and then we found out, and we tried the rehab and everything, and then as time went on.
I think a lot of us think that, just quit, but what is it like to be on heroin?
Why
can't you quit?
Why was that the place you wanted to be?
It started off as fun. It started off as, something to take yourself out of you. And then it became a way of life for us. And it's like, if you could just quit, we would have just quit.
Yeah.
The consequences, circumstances, pain, we would have just quit.
Right.
But that wasn't, it takes a hold of your life. It really does. You're no longer in control. You are a slave to it. You're not the same person. It takes you physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. It takes you in every aspect.
Were you snorting it? When did you start injecting it?
I'm trying to think when we started. We started off snorting it, yes. When we started injecting it was probably
Injected it for 6 years.
Yeah.
6 or 7 years,
yeah.
I would say. And once you start that, that's it.
What's the difference between the two?
The quickness of it.
Yeah.
When you stick it in your vein, it's on, just like that. I started sniffing it, and I had a guy I used to mess with. I'd watch him shoot it, and instantly, and he'd feel it so much faster and be so much more messed up, and I was having to do so much more.
Right.
And then one day, it was, I got a friend of mine to shoot me up, and from there on out, that was it.
So your son saw this going on. Did he understand what was happening?
I think at the time he was young, he knew something wasn't right.
Yeah.
He watched us go through the withdrawal, he watched us go through hating each other, being sick, getting up and being in just a mood of leave me alone, going in a bathroom and coming out, what do you need? The different attitudes, the different way of life, where once it was every weekend we did family things, then it was that even bundled down.
For parents out there who have never had an addiction, how do you answer the question, how can you do that with a child? I mean, wasn't your child enough motivation to quit?
That's the thing with the heroin. That's how serious it is. When I lost my brother, almost in my arms, I took the same heroin home and shot the same heroin. It takes a hold of your life. If you believe in God, then you believe in the devil. Well, that's what it is. It's the devil, and it's on you. And until you're either dead or in jail or get some help, you're going to go, and he's going to take you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so
definitely.
you had a son. You now have a daughter
Yes.
Yes.
who had to go through withdrawals when she was born.
Yes.
Was that what it took to wake you up?
No.
Why not?
Well, I think still having that brokenness inside of us, the pain through the years,
Yeah.
there was no healing for it. Was it very hard to watch our daughter go through that, and did we tell ourselves, you know what, this is it? But then, once your mind gets going, and the hurt and the pain gets set off in your heart and your mind, you're like, you know what, why? She's all right now. And it's the same thing over and over.
We didn't know how to deal with ourselves. We didn't know how to deal with with life, because our way of life was the addiction for so long that when we tried to get clean, that's all we knew. That's all we knew, and how to deal with stress and how to deal with ourselves and how to deal with the kids. How to deal with us was running to the heroin.
All you knew?
So what was rock bottom for you? What was it that made you stop?
Rock bottom, it did have something to do with the kids. I looked at my husband one day and was just like, this can't be all there is. If this is all there is, I'm just, I'm done. Kind of being tired and wanting something else. I wanted something, but I didn't know what. I just knew I didn't want that no more.
Mm-hmm.
And watching, here we have our children are 12 years apart. So here we are watching our daughter. We're getting ready to go through the same thing that our son went through.
And you had run-ins with the law. You shoplifted.
Oh yeah,
You
we
cheated on.
we went through all that.
You went through all
Jails,
of
rehabs, theft, adultery, just hate in your heart, and it definitely takes the feelings from you, where you are emotionless. You don't care. I didn't care about how he felt. I didn't care about how the kids felt. I didn't care about anybody felt. I just didn't want to feel. And the rock bottom of being tired, I called my leader, a friend of mine that I've known all my life. She loved me when I was a hot mess, and she loved the hell right out of me, really. And I called her and was like, I need something. I just got out of rehab again. I need a woman's group. I need something. I seen an ad in the paper and thought it was her, and it wasn't. She's like, but I have something for you.
Yeah.
So that's when I started getting connected and started realizing that, you know what? I got to deal with me. I have to surrender all I am to God and say, all right, I trust you. It wasn't that we just came in, got saved, and all right, we believe, and it is. You have to, put in, what you give out. So.
We want to find out. You're sitting together on a couch with us this afternoon, so that says a lot right there. Before we actually get to that, do you think that's why a lot of people don't understand, because there's so much hatred and so much anger that
Yes.
comes from all of this?
They don't address. They address the symptom, but not the root. The symptom of, rape and molestation and abandonment and, growing up maybe with everything material, but not the love.
Right.
That was some of my issues. So they don't address that. They just keep that hurt and that pain down. And then you find a drug that takes all that away. And that's what they run to. And they can't be free. They can never be free. No matter the rehabs, the replacement drugs, the Percocets, the Sabat, whatever, I never felt free and happy until I had a relationship with Jesus.
So where are you today as a couple?
Tell us about this.
Oh yes, we went through it. We went through it when we got saved, coming together and having to have accountability and honesty in our marriage from the things in the past. That was hard.
Now, you went to church,
Yes.
but Jesse didn't jump right in there with you. Is that right?
Yes, I was still using. I hated people. I hated my wife. I hated my kid. I was at the point where somebody's going to die. I'm going to die. It's going to be done, and I've had enough. Wow. She Like she said, she reached out to her leader, Trina. Started going, so I get dressed just to go. I didn't want to hear the mouth. You know, that's just where I was at. And I would go, and one night we went to a friend's house. The church, 3C, was having a first fruits prayer, you know. I went that night, and I never believed in God. I used to curse God. How can there be a God with what I've been through, you know? And that night, something touched me. He said, come on down. It's time. And after that night, I never looked back. Never looked back. Today, I am a son of the Most High God. I am healed, I am redeemed, I am restored by the great I am, Jesus Christ. That's who I am today. I'm not an addict. You can see me, that's who I used to be. But be around me today, and you'll see, I hope you see Christ in me today.
You couldn't do all this on your own.
No.
So what would you tell an addict right now?
Let's get together, let's get connected. If you're still out there, all right, let's go to rehab, let's get you detoxed, let's get your eyes open, and then let's start dealing with the pain inside. What has got you where you're at? But you got to be connected with positive people. You got to make change. You got to cut everything off. All the people I used to hang around, when they see me, are you still using? No, I got Jesus. And before I can turn around, they're gone. I'm not ready for that. Well, when you are ready, I'm here. But if you don't surround yourself with positive, fruitful people in your life that are out here changing the world, you got to have somebody pouring into you.
Right.
You can't do it alone. You know, we can't do it alone.
You gotta put God first, you know.
Over everything.
We were just discussing, somebody was like, well, I gotta put my recovery first, and I gotta put, you know, my kids first. You know, obviously our kids couldn't even do it for us.
Yeah.
You know, you have to put God first.
And speaking of your kids, where are you with your children now?
Oh, wow.
The restoration and healing that God has done with our kids is amazing. We, you know, our son stayed with family members, and we had him here and there. And when he came home, it was just like, wow. You know, and I'm sure there's doubt in his mind. Here we go, you know, or do good for a while. But today, you know, I know he sees the change, and I know he sees the Christ in us. We are definitely different people today. And with our daughter, when people see her, they don't know. You know, they don't know what she's been through or what we've been through until we share our testimony.
I mean, our son, he graduated this year.
Yes.
He's in the Parsonsburg Fire Department. He just got a scholarship from McDonald's when he graduated, a $500 scholarship to go to college. He wants to be a paramedic. I mean, wow. I'm so proud through the life we put him through. He shouldn't be through with everything he's seen and just me. I was so mean to that child. You know, he never even wanted to hear my name, didn't want to be around, he hated me. But today, only by the grace of God and his mercy, we are together as a family. Our son is prospering. Our daughter prays. Yeah. You know, start with your children young. Mm-hmm. You know, let God shape and mold them and bring them up. This is such a broken world. We live in a broken nation we live in now. And it needs healing, and people need to love each other. And I mean, without Jesus Christ, I don't know any other way to do it.
You now know how to make that happen.
Amen.
Yes.
Jesse,
Amen.
Sarah, thank you so much.
Wow.
Thank you guys
for telling your
us.
story. So happy for you.
Thank you for having us.
Man, oh man. Now, if you ever find yourself with someone who has overdosed, well, it's important to know that help is available by way of something called Narcan. Narcan is a medication that can quickly restore the breathing of someone who is overdosed not only on heroin, but on other prescription opioids like fentanyl, oxycodone, or morphine. EMTs and paramedics often administer the drug through a needle, but it can also be given through someone's nose. Now, you can be trained on how to do it properly.
You may recall when Mady Barker with the Somerset County Health Department joined us in May. She says there are certain signs that may indicate someone has overdosed. Obviously, if the person is non-responsive, if they have blue fingertips or lips, or if they are gurgling. You should administer Narcan and call 911. She says Narcan is a temporary effect, so it's very important that the person who overdosed also seeks medical treatment.
Now, maybe you're the one who's using. If you feel hopeless, there are treatment programs that are available. Just for instance, the Somerset County Health Department has a program that's ranked the best in the state in terms of retention rate and successful completion rate. There's also the statewide opioid prevention campaign, Unmask Addiction, which provides Narcan training and resources that you need to help yourself or a loved one. If you'd like to learn more about the programs or others that are available, just go to WBOC.com and click on our picture at the top of the page.
Wow.
What an incredible story.
And it takes courage and strength to overcome addiction, but strength comes in many ways. Up next, a story of one mother who pushed through to open a business to better the lives of children living with Down syndrome, including her own daughter, Lauren. Hear how a few sweet treats are offering these kids new opportunities.
And we have a few sweet treats of our own. A little later on, we're in the Delmarva Life kitchen learning to decorate our very own professional looking cupcakes. Well, Lisa's will look professional. Delmarva Life, we'll be right back.